volume turned in.
Woohoo! We're live.
Okay. Hey, everybody.
Anybody and everybody.
Yep. We're going to give it a few minutes. There's Rebecca. Hello, Rebecca.
She was quick.
Yeah. They are probably, a lot of our friends are over there on Jack's, and I'm sure they are closing it down, maybe having prayer. And
Sorry.
volume's off. There we go. Farm to Table Show. I wonder if that is Ryan. And there's Robbie. Hi, guys. And, oh, there's Keith. Okay. And Jack. Hey, Jack. You sound like you are feeling better.
Still not.
That is so good.
Not 100%, but you're sounding better.
Yeah. You are sounding better. I'm going to paste this up here. Okay. Hey, Chris and Dodge. Let me get that. Okay.
We posted the link. Anybody wants
Link
to
is
join?
posted. Let me scoot that over.
Jack.
Jack is there.
Hey, how are y'all?
We are good. My goodness. That's been a long time.
It has been. I am feeling better, but I could still get better.
Yeah. Okay. I'm fixing our volume right here. It's sounding a tad low.
How many dozen eggs do y'all want me to bring you next weekend? 20?
Oh, what'd you say?
20?
Don't think we need that much.
This is for eating.
Yeah.
I could very well have, I'm getting 3 a day, so I could very well have 20 more by next week.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Wow.
And
Kids eat a lot of eggs, but not that many.
Hi, Joy.
I was selling my overs at the auctions, but I haven't been taking them. The money's dropped off, but the prices have come down too. So anything would help pay for feed. So I probably ought to do that. But
yeah, we our hens are rebelling right now because they've been in their temporary coop for several weeks now. We've hit a month. We hit the month mark, and with all the rain, and they're crowded, and it's just a mess. And so we always
they're laying in the mud.
Yeah. I think some of them are just even I don't know. I think just the conditions, they're not happy. But since we give we kind of supply our whole family with eggs, and our kids eat a lot of eggs. So
I will bring you. You tell me a number, and I'll bring them to you.
I will. I'll check with them this week and see how many they want. They might want to stock up a little bit.
They'll keep a couple of months. They hadn't been washed.
Yep. Okay. Sounds good.
So,
and that because Monty and I really don't eat that many. I mean, we just don't eat that many. So we have plenty for us, but I know the girls are going to be going to Aldi or the store or somewhere and having to buy some.
What this weekend
Hi, out in space.
We've used what, 6?
You and I?
5 or 6. And you make cookies?
Yeah, probably 6, 7, 8. But that's more than we ever use.
We ate 6 this morning.
Yeah.
And I've always liked eating eggs. I love eggs for breakfast. But I can't have the bacon or sausage right now.
Okay. I was wondering, I was thinking when you were talking, I caught that we had to go out and put the animals up and feed them. And so I caught some of yours though. And you were saying you were back on keto.
Yeah. We just started again yesterday.
Yeah. Now, are there certain meats you can have and then some you can't have?
So the spice and the fat in the bacon, and that's tough with keto because you need fat, but like hamburger, a full-fledged fatty hamburger, I'm not supposed to have, but
okay,
a steak is good.
Yeah. So you're mostly you're not having your spices and stuff because of the stomach issue, not necessarily trying to stick
Right.
with keto.
Yeah,
So you're doing keto and you're doing non-spicy
and it's so tough because I love spice, and yesterday I cooked. I'm over our men's breakfast, and I love it. And yesterday I was out there. Somebody's in the basement, y'all.
I just saw
got
it.
it. There we go.
Hey,
So
Hey,
hey,
Ryan.
Ryan.
yeah, I had a
So-
few minutes. Figured I'd drop in.
Wonderful.
We always cook 10 pounds of bacon and 10 pounds of sausage and 5 dozen eggs and a big pot of gravy and I don't know how many dozen biscuits. So I thought all I can have, I wasn't on keto yesterday morning. We didn't start it till last night. So I thought all I can have is biscuits and gravy and eggs. And then to drink, there was coffee, orange juice, and milk. And I can't have coffee, can't have the orange juice because it's acidic. So I thought, I'll drink milk. And then on the way home this afternoon, she's sitting in her chair and she's Googling and she said, milk's not good for you.
Oh,
Because there's more stomach acid. I thought I was being good.
yeah. I
But
would have thought milk and cheese would have been
Yeah, just shoot me
soothing.
now.
Oh,
Yeah, cheese is okay, but milk itself isn't. But kefir's okay. Kefir's actually good for an ulcer.
kefir will heal the stomach.
I wonder-
It really will.
I wonder about raw milk.
I wonder that too. I don't know, Monty.
Do some research because if you can do raw milk, we can bring you some because our neighbor,
Yeah.
she's got a milk cow. and
She's got a Jersey.
She's overrun with milk.
I can get raw milk here too. We've got a friend that owns a dairy,
Yeah.
and she sells it. But she pasteurizes some of hers because she's kind of commercial.
Yeah.
But I can get it raw before
Yeah.
it's pasteurized.
Yeah. Our neighbor, she doesn't separate the cream or anything out. So, which is good if you want to separate the cream and, be able to have that.
And she hand pulls it.
I know.
No machine.
Out in space, strawberry whole milk. I have not had that
In years.
in decades. Yeah. But it's
You
good.
probably never have had.
It's good.
Whole milk.
Strawberry.
Oh, okay.
Well, the kind I had would have been labeled quick.
Yep. Us too.
Honey.
That's not real.
It's good, but it's not as good if you just get a spoonful of the powder.
I know. Or the Nestle's cocoa, the Nestle's mix.
Yep.
I know. That's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
Ryan, how are you?
Hi, Greg.
Exhausted. It's been a week. That's what I tell people. I was just telling one of my kids I worked 140 hours the last 2 weeks. And it's like, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Billable hours or
Yeah. Paid hours. Yeah.
holy cow.
Yeah. That's not counting well, there was no time for anything else. That was sleep,
Wow.
shower, work. That was all it was.
That's not necessarily as good as you might think for the pocketbook.
No, well, actually, there's a window where taxes just kill me.
Yep.
And with what I worked both weeks combined, I mean the two separate checks. Yeah, I'll be okay on the one, but the other one I probably went again to. There's a window 53 to 63 hours. About that, they kill me, and then I've got a little window from like 63 to about 68 that is okay, and then it kills me again. So Uncle Sam made more money those last day or two than I did. So
Yeah. Trump's working on that for you.
if he gets the no tax on overtime, listen, yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm
Fantastic.
waiting to see.
When you're working 25 to 30 hours, 35 hours of overtime a week,
Yeah.
And
I
I
don't
hate
get overtime. I get comp.
that's what my wife gets being a county employee. She gets comp time when they do over. But yeah, I told them today, it's like, listen, 50 hours a week, leave me alone. I'm a happy guy. But you start going past that too much, but we worked I did 65 hours in 5 days last week, and then we worked 6 days this week, and I did 75 hours.
Yeah. Well, I'm waiting to see how that no tax on overtime. I'm waiting to see how that works.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. Well,
I usually get 5 to 10 hours every 2 weeks.
the last the W-2s that I got for 2024, my company had put in one of the comments down there the amount of overtime that would be exempt if it was, if they did no taxes. So yeah, I would have what my wages would have been, and it was about a $25,000 uh, difference. So
That's significant.
big
Yes.
time.
Goodness.
So yeah, it's so I was like, when I seen that, I'm like, that's going to be a nice deduction if it ever goes through.
If it goes through,
See that, and then
oh man.
Robbie, I've been there when I was corporate.
Oh,
it makes it permanent, then no tax on Social Security too. That's going to be.
yeah, that's big.
I'm looking at that real close too.
Yeah, no tax on that, no tax on tips for those people. Yeah, that's.
I know that will be a big help.
Scotty's putting in his guest for tomorrow. I guess the plan, unless something happens between now and sunup, I will be live in the morning. So
Okay, that's what the Memorex Monday. Yeah, there we go.
they do a
I was scrolling.
guess every day if it's going to be live or Memorex. And so
And Robbie posted earlier about looks like all the mice from the coop went to the car.
Oh my gosh.
If y'all haven't watched the videos, holy cow. That was a mess.
We have a horrible we've never had this many mice before. And
So if y'all
we've always had a cat.
if y'all have snakes, let us know. We'll come get them.
Yeah.
what happened to the snake
Are
that
you
you?
talking about the snake? that
Yeah,
you
it was
found
me.
So far.
Yeah. So
Well,
say,
go ahead.
you set one free. What happened to it? Did he leave? I mean,
That's what I was just going to say too. It was like we've seen one, and I set it free. I don't think he's come back.
He died of obesity.
up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's laying over underneath the tree somewhere, still trying to digest.
Oh, but we've got a stray cat. I've got a situation I don't know what to do
What a
with.
black cat
We have
with a floppy ear.
we have a stray black cat here that is the sweetest. She has to have been somebody's house pet or whatever. I mean, she's the sweetest thing I've ever seen.
She wants to come in the house,
wants to come in
and
the
she's
house.
not afraid of the dogs.
Nope, she won't run with the dogs. But
Yeah, she's been somebody's pet.
yeah,
Yep.
she chased my kitty, Coco, off of the porch. So poor Coco has been living on the top of the shed and the shop and, just everywhere to stay out because Coco doesn't like anybody else.
And she's a little cat.
And she's tiny. She's a skinny little thing under all that hair. And so here's the bad deal. I think the black cat's pregnant. And my neighbor came over and she said, well, she's probably found a nice place that feels safe and she wants to have her kittens here. And she said, well, I'll take a kitten. And that means I got to keep her until she has kittens.
I don't know.
There's your mouse help.
Right.
And that too. She does catch mice.
Yeah, she's
She's down there all the time.
she actually caught a rat.
If she's earning her keep,
No, but I hate doing this to my poor kitty. But it's like my kitty's getting old, and I don't think she's catching a lot of mice. Although she's kind of been banished to the top of the shop and everything else. So I don't know what to do about this black cat, and I need to find a home for her. And I'm assuming it's a her, and I'm assuming it's pregnant.
We know it's a her.
We do.
Yeah,
Oh, I haven't touched it.
If it's pregnant,
it's a her.
Okay.
if it's pregnant, it's a her.
Well, she kind of looks that way. She kind of looks a little like flabby in the middle. So I don't know. I don't touch stray cats because
That goes back.
there's
40
a
years.
story there.
That goes back 40 years.
40 years to before we got married. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they want to hear that. But
Y'all know Rat Racer?
Rat Racer. I'm no.
Said to your neighbors.
Yeah, we're not. Well, I think that's a generic term. I think that's
Generic. We are your neighbors, not your enemies. Pass it on. Every relation.
Yeah, I don't.
Well,
We agree.
What if the black cat is really? I don't believe in that, and we've got Jesus and Yeshua, the Lord, and we are protected. And
Andrew's got an imagination.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not. That kind of stuff doesn't bother me, and no.
I don't know because I've got a black Jack. The cat is black, all black.
Yeah.
Then the one y'all never see, which is Sunshine, which is hilarious because her disposition is anything but sunshine. But anyway, she's sweet when she wants to be, but she's very much the prima donna. She does, it's on her terms. I
thought all cats were that way.
The male cat, he's needy. He wants attention all the time. But
okay, this black cat could be a male.
But no, she's got white. She's a beautiful coat. She's got white, the black. And when we were living in town and we had them, she was skinny and slim and everything. She never gained weight. We get out here to the country and she doesn't go outside as much as she wants to. But anyway, she has gained so much. That's just one of them people popping in. I don't know. But since she got here out in the country, she's gained up. She's gotten big. And
I can't get rid of that since I'm on Restream with you.
Yeah, we have to get that on YouTube. Let's see if we can see.
Did that do it? I think I got it.
Must be because it's gone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for pointing that out.
It'll show up here in Restream chat.
Yeah.
It's not on YouTube. But.
Yeah. We're not too far along from going back to regular horizontal view instead of vertical.
We're 98 subscribers away.
Is that where it's at? We crossed the 900 mark.
Man, I've just been trying to cross the 850. It's like there's a roadblock there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get to 849 and they'll take one back.
Yep.
Keith did that video with the kid chopping down the honey when he was biting on the honey. Man, that thing shot up, 12, 13, 1400. It was rolling. All of a sudden it stopped dead and went backwards to 1,000. And it's like, what is up with that?
Is that a short?
Yeah.
Was that a short or a
Yeah.
video?
Long short. It was longer than the 15-second. But he was eating the honeycomb, right? Thing shot up to it did 1,000 views in the first 15 minutes. And then it got up at 12, started coming out, and then all of a sudden it started going backwards and it stopped just short of 1,000.
How does that do that?
I don't know. I don't know. For the life of me, I ain't figured that math out. But yeah. But like I said, we've been hovering there trying
to. Guys, we're close too.
Hi, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
Yep.
There we go.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I know, and it just seems like it's and as the closer you get, you kind of want to keep watching, and it's like, don't do that,
Right.
Watch pot never boils, but it's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back,
right?
And that's what it has felt like.
It's like, man, I'm putting in, I'm knocking in, 5 days a week. We're knocking in, good watch hours. We're there, we're consistent, and it's just, and we've grown. I don't want to complain. We've grown. It's not that, but it's like hit this wall.
Yeah.
That it's just like, man, really, and so I don't know.
We found that wall multiple times.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, she'll spend hours in a video, and it's like, man, this video is going to be great. We put it out.
Cricket.
And it gets up to 100 views, and it's like, really? What's the deal?
That's like my weather report. I've been doing it very consistently for a while now, and it'll get 1,000 views every day, and then all of a sudden it won't get past 600 for a few days, and then it'll jump up again and back and forth.
Hey, Tony. But
Yeah.
it's it's
Yeah.
maddening, like you said. I mean, you put the effort in and it's consistent, but and I ain't gonna sit there and say, shadow banning or hey, Troy Sutton. But anyway, I ain't gonna say it's that, but I just don't think they're, when they're putting it up, I don't think it's getting the same. It's not being put up against fair competition or in the right places.
Yeah, Robbie's saying his watch hour's been slipping.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
did something this week I really didn't think I would get accepted at. I just now thought about it, but we became affiliates for Delete Me.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
So we joined Delete Me,
Cool.
and because of family problems from my stepdad passing away, so we figured we should really do that, and we got a PO box.
Right.
Anyway, that Delete Me, I applied and they accepted us. I haven't shot a video or anything with it yet. I need to read through all their requirements and stuff. But
Yeah. Yeah. That's something I figured at some point in the future we'll do the PO box and get all that.
well, I
set
used
up.
Good Simple Living's code to get 20% off, but we'll be able to give a code for people to do that too.
Right. So
Okay.
tell us about it, Jack, because I don't know what that is.
So Delete Me is a program that searches the internet for your name and your birthday. I mean, it takes a lot of information and it deletes it off the internet. Where it's sold on name list and things. When your name's sold,
Okay.
It'll basically eliminate your robocalls and your spam emails and all that kind of stuff. But it protects your identity.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we've used the incognito, and that's just something I've had for a while, but I've seen the Delete Me and haven't really looked into it, but I think we all need it when we have a social media presence.
Well, Arm's family has it, and Good Simple Living has it. I don't remember. Several of the bigger channels have it.
Right.
And we was big enough they accepted us. So,
well, that's good. Yeah.
Cool deal.
Well, I know. I can't remember. I think we got it back. Not Delete Me, but the other one. After it was like a year ago when like different hospitals or this or that, and hey, you get your mail, and it's like, oh, they've had a breach and had a this or that. Your information was probably was included in this and that, and we had several different, like notices, and it's like, okay, it was time to go ahead and get something like that. So that's what we did, but I haven't really looked into it. I haven't looked into Delete Me or anything, but I might when it's time to.
My email, Keith's email. Well, we got a Gmail, but like our show's mail and like even I've got my mail here. It's through an encrypted email server, and so that keeps a lot of stuff off, and so it's why when people see my email address, they kind of look at it strange, and I'm like, it's out of Europe. It's an encrypted email service, and I do it so nobody else gets my, they can't grab it, but but I've got a smartphone, so I mean, I search things and I do things and I pay bills and I live life, and so I get the calls all the time.
Yep.
Me and Keith have a standard joke. It's like it's either spam risk or spam likely. Just don't talk to them anymore. But I've got one the other day that said telemarketer. I was like, hey, cool, at least it's honest. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I've gotten spam risk written on it, and it'll be somebody calling for eggs or something, because I advertise in the local thrifty paper and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, forgot about when you're selling eggs and things like that.
That's going to be one of the difficult things. I'm working on a business. idea that if I get it out and get it through, that I'm going to have my phone number on it. So I'll have to start answering those calls that I don't know, and so it's like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
That's the thing. You answer it, you listen, hello, and if they don't answer real quick, click.
It's like our candy business. We had to put our number on the back of the package, every package.
right.
But that law has changed now. You do not have to do that now, and you do not have to put your actual address. We had to put our actual address on there too, and that worried Dina a lot. But
certainly,
Yeah.
which I can share it with y'all guys. What I'm working on putting together is a business that cleans headstones and manages grave sites and restores grave sites, setting, leveling, working with the monument and cemetery service stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
yeah, so once I get it going, that'll be that thing, and I'll have to deal with it because, like I said again, people will call for needing stuff.
You gonna have to quit driving?
That's the hope is that it replaces that. That's the plan. It may take a while. I mean, it's going to be gradual build up, but that is the plan. Is to replace the driving. So, but how fast that happens, well, I guess that'll just depend on how fast the business grows. But Keith and I have a friend that's been in the funeral business around here for about 20 years, and has his own funeral home and stuff. And he's told me that whenever I'm ready, let him know, and he'll get me connected in with the people I need to be connected in with. So,
oh, that's good.
Inside information is important, helpful. But
I used to work for a cemetery when I was a teenager, and I tell people, I'm the last person that's ever going to let you down.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh man!
I always tell people I couldn't be a funeral director, mortician. I couldn't do that because I don't like dead people. I don't like. I don't. I mean,
they're not very friendly.
Well, they don't back. That's for certain. But being in a cemetery and being around that aspect doesn't bother me, not in the least. And
Tony said, "Don't clean the stones at night."
Yeah. Right. My buddy says that he told me he's telling me about it, and he said, "Listen, just don't get mad at me when you're out there at 9, 10 o'clock at night with a headlamp on, busy. That's when you got to work." And
Nope.
and I'm like, well, it's not like they're going to get up and do anything about it. So it's, but no, it's just a respect thing there. I joke around about it too, but Keith said, "Dead people won't hurt you, bro." LOL. I know. It's just.
No, they cause you to hurt yourself.
I mean, going to funerals and stuff. I mean, okay, I can deal. But when I escorted a soldier home, his remains home, that was part of the job was that you had to inspect them. You had to inspect the uniform, and you had to make any corrections. You had to do all this work, and it was like 8:30 at night in the basement of the funeral home.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was most uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Looks good. See you in the morning.
So I had to measure and make sure it was all right, and I knew the guy. That made it even more.
You're getting a lot of good chat.
Yeah. That would be.
And they are. I'm seeing. I'm laughing at the comments. Just watch out for the sleepwalkers in this.
Scotty.
Yeah, I tell him.
Scotty's got a heck of a sense of humor.
Yeah, it does. But no, my last probably week or two, I guess a couple of weeks is just been researching, watching restoration videos, watching the proper way to clean them, even the veterans memorials and stuff, and the proper way to clean those. And
somebody, it may have been Lee Greenwood, or who sings that Squirrel Went Berserk?
Oh, that was Ray Stevens.
Yeah, he sang Sitting Up with the Dead.
Sitting Up with the Dead. I remember that. Hey, Paul Case, what are you doing?
Okay, we got some. Is he there?
Paul's blacked out if he's there.
No.
He went to sleep.
They could make you hurt. They're all laughing.
Where'd he go? There he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm stuck already.
Yeah.
Let me try this.
You're stuck.
Yeah,
we can hear you
again.
But I'm
Greg,
loving if you happen to be graveyard trumpet sounds, you'd have a front seat to the dead coming alive. I'm afraid if I was there and that started happening, if I'd probably be right there joining them as the dead when that happened. But because
Well, I hope I was going with them.
right, but I mean, I'm just saying, it's like if there was a moment. And Rebecca said they sister and her dressed their mother when she passed. I've had friends that they worked in the industry and did makeup and stuff like that, and had to do family members and stuff and do makeup, and that's like
Well, listen,
Okay.
I'm gonna get out of here.
Oh.
I enjoyed the little bit I was here. Sorry it's short, but I need to go take care of something right now. My belly's telling me so.
Okay, handle business.
Right.
I'll holler at you guys sometime this week, and maybe we can hook up next week or something.
Okay.
All right.
That sounds
Yeah.
good.
Let us know.
We're glad you're feeling
Bye,
better, Jack.
everybody out
Been
there.
good to see you.
Yeah.
See y'all later.
Okay. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I don't know if Paul's going to make it
Well,
back.
Keith was having this problem when he would try to join me the other day and stuff, trying to join in, being there,
Uh-huh.
but the screen was black, just like that. So
Huh.
I don't know. It's something with Restream, I think. I'm just honestly.
The last time Paul was on, we could see him, but we couldn't hear him.
Oh my. Well, I wondered if it was the private chat too. If I clicked on it also, I wondered if it was just too
It
much.
shouldn't, but I don't know. Keith ended up having to restart his computer and come back in. So and they don't.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So how many of y'all watched My Lovely Little Bride pull that baby lamb?
I did not.
That's been over 2 weeks ago. That was
We
talked about it.
We haven't
Right
been
on
on
that.
2 weeks.
We were on the week before though. So we were on. We talked about it.
I don't think so.
I think we did.
But anyway,
After watching the snake
Well-
distangling, I was kind of like, yeah,
Wow. I mean, Monty has missed out on so much. There's been a lot of stuff happen while he is working. And so, yeah. But the baby's doing good. We're expecting another one, hopefully this week. I hope she has it this week.
yeah.
And I'm praying that we don't have to intervene again.
Yeah, that little one she pulled, that thing's huge.
He's big. Took him into the vet, and all doing
He
good.
says
And
it's the cleaning out of the car, and yeah, I'll have to check that one out later.
that was wild too.
Mice.
It's a funny thing. We spend as much time as we do on YouTube, and it is so hard to find time to watch videos.
I know.
Yeah.
We don't have time to watch everybody's. I wish we did.
Man.
And
since we're amongst friends here, part of that video, it happened twice.
the mouse in the glove box.
Yeah, cleaned it all out. She reached up and cleaned
New
all that.
filter.
No, we didn't have the new filter yet. That was
The second.
We stuck the new filter.
I'm going to order another filter now.
And I don't remember why I got back in there.
Like cars, but they're usually abandoned parked cars that have been sitting for a while. Not the.
No.
That thing was full again.
Much rain as we've been getting, they're probably looking for the ark.
I know. It was nice.
What are you doing? Eating dinner.
He's eating with us.
How y'all doing?
Thank you. We're doing good. Yeah, Ryan, you need to watch the cleaning out of the car video. Well, we just I'm gonna get us another filter because now, so what Monty was saying was that it happened twice. We did the video and everything, got the new filter put in, all's good. We noticed more corn. And so we were like, you got to be kidding me. And he pulled the glove box back out, and sure enough, on the brand new filter, there is more corn along the top. So we've got to get in there and figure out how to vacuum that out.
Somebody said put peppermint oil.
We tried it.
They don't like peppermint oil. So I I saturated everything inside and out with peppermint oil. It didn't affect.
It didn't work good enough, and
so now when you turn the air conditioner on, it smells like mouse poop.
Which I'm glad
mouse
that we
pee,
talked about.
whatever.
I'm gonna make myself a note. New filter. Luckily, they're like $8, so it's cheap. But we did, although we didn't show this in the video, but it was like the corn is gone, the leaves are gone. You know, there is no more corn or anything they can bring up into our car. And so we got all that taken care of.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need to the mouse mobile. I don't want to have a mouse mobile. No.
Don't need no what is that, a HEPA virus, whatever that is. Yeah.
If we get
Hunter.
we get through this and I don't get the Hunter virus, it's going to be amazing.
No, the Lord is we're already praying about that.
Goodness, with the chicken coop and then now the car.
We've just never dealt with mice before, and now they're everywhere. And they're not in the house.
Nope.
Thankfully, nothing like that. But it's just outside. They're everywhere.
I had somebody tell me that you should take having mice as a compliment because that means you do a really good job of keeping things just right.
Well, our mice have a low standard.
Oh well. What is Greg saying? I am beginning a systematic watch of videos. I plan to move from YouTuber to YouTuber. Oh, let us know how that goes. I might have to try something like that. Let's see. I'm kicking back up here. I hadn't seen.
Wow, I didn't know that.
$10,000.
$10,000 to fix it. Wow, and it is a new. She's got a new, like a year old maybe, Hyundai, and I think it's a Hyundai. I don't know, but anyway, yeah, she's got a nice car. Wow.
Ooh. Wow, I guess.
Man.
We were real thankful that it was just sitting there in the, what's that called? Cabin?
Yeah, it was all on top of the cabin filter.
Yeah. And maybe we caught it soon enough because I just happened, we were going somewhere with church and I just happened, it was like, why do we have corn in the car? Why is there corn at my feet?
And then when we left and I turned the air up and it was like, the air's not blowing. Okay.
I don't even know if you mentioned it to me, but
it was on the way home. We were turning the air up, and no air was coming out of the vent. It's like, okay.
I have trouble with mice getting in my cow feeding truck because it's got cow feed on it, and you can't. Yeah. It's not to where it shuts up tight to where they could get in the box on the back, and that's an aggravation. In the wintertime, they love to live in there. Well, I've been in it, driving it, and had one run across my feet before.
Oh, wow.
And all I could think was, this is an aggravation I had no idea I'd be putting up with. So I put bait in there. I'm like, I'll kill them if I can't do anything else. And it did. And then I had dead mouse smell in my truck for, I'm like, couldn't have just run over a skunk to where it would stink bad and that would be all instead of gag you the whole time you're driving. But it's a country thing. I don't know anybody that doesn't have to deal with it, especially if you're dealing with animal feed all around it. They love those and coons. Coons were probably some of the worst ones we had trouble with when I was growing cattle for show as a youngster, because we would buy most of our feed in bags.
Yeah,
and they're kind of open and susceptible to a coon, and a raccoon will just tear a bag open and eat what it wants and mess on the rest.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we haven't had them. We've had them here. We've seen them in trees and stuff. They've gotten some chickens at times, but
and I saw them on trail cams. Out
Yeah.
where I had
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
deer
Lots
feeders
on
up.
the trail cams.
Yeah,
But we didn't.
whole family show up at night.
Yeah.
Get that 6 p.m. free feed.
It looks to me
Oh,
like
yeah,
Robbie's getting down to the bottom of the barrel, and y'all need to get putting out some video content or something, because he said he even had to watch his Paul Case Farm videos, and that is getting desperate for some entertainment.
Oh. Oh, Sonia put poison in the attic for squirrels,
Oh.
and we ended up with one in the wall.
Oh,
Oh.
bad news there.
Oh.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah, watch the coop deconstruction video because we can show you what squirrels do inside a
Yep.
wall.
Squirrels are just big rats, big mice,
Tree rats.
and
Yeah, they're tree
tree
rats.
rats. That's what Monty calls them. Yeah. Mm.
They just got a big fuzzy
There
tail
you
on them.
Yeah. And we would watch them. They'd see us. I'd go into the coop, and I could see them running. They would see me. Sometimes they'd stop and just stare at me and see if I was going to stay in there. And then they'd go onto the eave and up and out and get on the tree.
First church I pastored had a cabin at our association's campgrounds, and of course those only get used for maybe like 30 or 40 days through the summer, and nobody's there in them. They've got a manager that lives down there, but we had trouble with the squirrels and chipmunks would chew holes through the wood siding on that building and get into the attic and mess stuff up.
Yep.
And, it was a thing where you'd go down there and you'd see places where he had drove up and stopped with these side by side, our camp manager, and there'd be a couple of 3 or a dozen 410 shells, and then you'd see another spot that you get it. And so he was trying to eradicate them things, but he couldn't even keep up with as many of them as he was getting rid of.
Yeah.
And there's still, so I got to figuring out, and I figured out something that could be a help to you if you're trying to make something mouse proof and you got mice chewing holes in it to get in. That expanding spray foam that comes in the can, the great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you fill a hole with that, the mice won't eat back through that hole. There's something about that they don't like. It's like it's bitter to them or something, and they won't eat back through that. And so the tree rats are the same way. We could fill them holes on our siding full of that expanding foam insulation, and they would leave it alone.
Huh.
Oh, we had that all over in the coop. I'm not sure. Hey, Brooke, large family homestead.
But we never saw where they had chewed through that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Now that I'm
Now that
thinking
the
back on it.
now the chickens, when I had it, like I did the seams, and so where plywood the plywood and the windows and stuff, I would fill it with those. Well, the chickens pecked it out if they could get to it on the inside. So I didn't even think about it. I just assumed maybe the mice were eating through it too, unless there was, like, I always heard for caulk and anything like that, or maybe the foam, I just assumed that you had to put steel wool in it, and then they couldn't chew through that.
Well, I'm not we used a bunch of that in our chicken houses. Our chicken houses had that 1.5-inch styrofoam board for insulation, and it was thick enough that the mice would burrow holes up through it and get wherever they wanted to and make a big mess of it.
Oh yeah.
If you would keep after it and be plugging their holes, they never would eat back through where that expanding foam insulation was.
But, okay, that's good to know.
But I should have been buying it by the case back then.
I'm in those around those chicken houses all the time, those big ones, and you see mice everywhere.
The first key to tell if you have mice is if you see little pieces of styrofoam on the ground.
Yep.
So
bad. One day I went out on a farm, and there was a trap out on the ground, game trap, and I was like, and the guy's like, "Yeah, I wouldn't get too close over there." He had trapped a skunk, and I said, well, besides the smell, what you gonna do with him? He said, well, I'm trying to figure out how to kill him without him spraying. He said, that one's rabid. He's I've been seeing that one out during the daytime and the way it's acting. He said, that one's rabid. He said, but anyway,
Roll a towel over it and then throw it in the
Well,
pond.
if you're a dead-on shot,
Yeah.
I've got a little 22 that my dad learned to shoot, and I won't say the word pew pew or whatever, but it's supposed to be a long rifle, but the thing's got a barrel that's only I don't know. It looks like a toy gun almost.
Right.
But it's a single shot, and it was made to shoot longs. But if you put longs in it, they won't eject. So we use shorts, and them little old shorts have such a small load in them, they almost sound like a pop gun
Mm-hmm.
when you pull the firing mechanism. Am I getting too technical?
You're amongst
You're
friends
quivering
here.
over here.
My grandpa taught my dad how to use it by shooting crows out of a tree that was about 200 feet out the back of the old chicken house, the home place. But I had a skunk get in my chicken house here whenever I was between bunches once, and I snuck down there. He was out during the daytime too, so I thought there's something there with him. And I thought, there won't be anybody around here for a little bit. If I can get rid of him, even if I hit his gland and make him stink, I could leave him alone for a while and come back later. And
Oh.
I got him right between the eyes. He didn't spray or nothing. He
Right.
still stunk a little bit, but not near like he would have if I would have messed up and
Got the wrong spot. Yeah.
Well, I saw Living Traditions. He set a large trap out. He didn't, he knew something was getting into one of his hoop houses, his duck houses or something. Well, it ended up being a skunk that they caught in there. And he was like, how am I going to do this? Because it was right up against their little hoop house. So he had animals on the backside because it had been, digging under. And he ended up, he said, knowing about skunks, if you walk real slow. Now, he said he did. He put on every pair of old clothing, arm sleeves, pants, jacket, face covered, everything, goggles, just in case, boots. And he said, if worst case happens, I can throw this all away. But he walked real slow. He had a blanket. And he got over there. He said because their vision, I guess, is very bad. And he was able to lay the towel or kind of a blanket or something like that over the big trap. And then he was able to pick it up and he walked it over. And, he said, well, he didn't really have any other way than to put it in a trough, water trough.
well, if you got startled and made a smell like that, your vision would be bad too. Right? Let's be real honest about it. Your neighbor's over here. That makes my eyes hurt,
And that, I got to go. We're turning the conversation a different direction. No, I do got to go. Stayed a little long. But it was good seeing you guys, good hanging out. And we'll see you all later.
Okay.
Right,
Thanks
see
for
you,
joining
Ryan.
us, Ryan. It's good seeing you. Okay. Bye. Oh, that's funny.
Goodness.
Well, I'm glad to know that, Brooke, if that's you on here with Large Family, she says we can say gun on YouTube, just can't promote or sell them or any accessories.
well,
I don't know. I know we've watched Johnny Gillum, and he's like, I'm not changing my wording or, whatever. So
the little pew pew I was talking about, I've only ever seen one other one of them. And this was something my granddad had, so it's probably pretty old. And I went into a pawn shop in Seneca, Missouri, and there was one of them sitting over the top of his gun case, hanging up there. And I asked the guy about it. He didn't have a price on it. He said, I've been offered $500 for it and didn't take it. And they're just a little single shot 22. There is really nothing to them. And I said, well, I have a gun in my family just like that one. He said, really, you're going to be interested in this? And he had a clipping out of a newspaper where they were advertising selling those new in 1903, and it was $3 for that gun. He told me he had turned down
Wow.
500 for it, and I said, "Well, would you take 300 then?" She turned me down too, but
Yeah, and $3 back at that time. You just sent them $3, and they sent it to you.
yeah,
in the mail.
probably. But in 1903, $3 was probably month's wages. I don't know.
Oh man. Yeah.
There
I don't
were a
know.
lot of people who
Yeah.
lived around here at that time, I'm certain, that didn't ever make any money or spend any.
Yeah,
That's probably true.
that's what I mean. Talking on the same line, back in 79, 80, I guess it was, the school I went to, everybody rode buses because we all lived out in the country. And when deer season came around, there was a TGNY that was in walking distance of our school, and guys would walk over there, buy 30-30s, 30-06s, whatever, and bring them back to school, carry them back, put them in their locker, and then when we left for ride home on the bus, they'd get them out of their locker, get on the bus, and ride home with them. Nobody ever thought anything about it.
There was a guy that was in my class in school. I graduated in 92. I'm kind of a youngster. But he
Oh, you
he
are.
never showed up at school without a gun in the rack in his truck. And nobody said anything to him because everybody knew what that was for, and it wasn't for using on people. You know,
Yeah.
he was a hunter. He was actually his dad liked to run them coyotes with greyhound dogs. They'd turn them greyhounds loose to get them coyotes stirred up to where they catch them or shoot them, whatever.
A buddy of mine, he grew up in Kansas, and they would take old trucks or cars or whatever and cut the back end out of them. If it was a car, they'd cut the back end out of them, and they put roll bars in, and they would plumb the cooling system into that roll bar, which circulated water through there. So in the wintertime, when you go out and run coyotes, you could hold on to that roll bar and keep your hands warm, and they'd chase those coyotes through the fields with their spotlights, and then they'd shoot them.
I have a similar story to that one. Have you guys seen those little Mr. Heater deals that you put on the top of a propane tank? My mom bought a bunch of those back in '99 because she was sure the electric was going to go off and our well houses would freeze up and blah, blah, blah. I never did use them. And when I got started to sawing lumber down here, there was times when I'd have to be down there working when it was cold enough, the water that I have to drip on the blade on the mill would be freezing. And you wanted a little heat somewhere when it was like that. The buildings being all the side curtains you could shut, but they were still way too big to heat, and they wouldn't be to make one spot warm. But I'd get me one of them Mr. Heaters and put it on my little propane tank, and I put it back at the end of the mill where I'd have to return back to every time I had to move log or something. I could warm up a little bit. Well, the seat of my pants was a little bit frayed. I backed up a hair too far once. Caught my pants on fire. And
that was a cool walk back to the house. I
smelled the smoke when I got about halfway down the log cutting it, and I'm like, oh Lord, I'm on fire. And the reason I didn't feel it was because I had 2 pair of thermals on under them. And I told that story at church, and the next week there was a guy brought me an old pair of overalls so I could mend mine with them. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. I think those are done. You got to be a little sharper than me to do that successfully.
Oh my! Wow.
The things we did and thought of when we were younger.
Well, I could say I wasn't even all that young, but I sure was dumb that day.
Oh wow!
Goodness.
Well, I was still back thinking about Ryan, and I just saw something about, cleaning, going to the cemeteries and stuff and cleaning the headstones, and didn't realize that was such a thing. But, when we would always go do for our family and our grandparents and stuff, they've got decoration day. And so, you go and you put flowers and stuff, and we always walked around the cemetery and found, family members and, look at the stones and stuff. And then just remembering there's so many stories, just, when you're there, especially when you see, just knowing some of our family stories and a lot of people, but real interesting stuff on the headstones that tells a lot about the people. And,
she's from a family of horse thieves.
oh my gosh, I can't believe you just said
That's the rumor.
there was a rumor back on my mother's and or a maiden name, and we don't have to share it. But anyway, so that it was long ago that their name changed. They changed the pronunciation and a letter or two because there was horse thieves back in the 1800s or whenever, So there is a lot of interesting. There's a lot of interesting things.
Yep.
When we've gone to family funerals and stuff like that, a lot of times you'll walk around and especially one of my sides of the family, there's a lot of family in this one particular cemetery. And so you can walk around and see different, you can there's history. So I thought about that when Ryan was talking about what he's going to be doing and working on. And I thought, there's so many stories. If you could go around and if you wrote a book, on some of the stories, people's lives.
There's some of that kind of strange stuff that went on around here. There was a guy named Benjamin Quapaw that built, he had an empire kind of, but he was a chief of the Quapaw tribe back around the early 1900s, 1910s. And he had a pet bear. And they made their cemetery in the front yard of his mansion. And the guy that married his widow's name was Hoffman, so it became known as Hoffman's Mansion. And it has recently been dozed because the family that still owned the land couldn't keep trespassers out of it, and they was always vandalizing it and stealing stuff. So they dozed it all in, but it was a huge old house. Would have been built before they had electric out here, so all the cooking that was done there was done on wood fire, and it was real fancy for back then.
Probably had a cookhouse.
Out back. It had a Olympic-sized swimming pool in the backyard, and beyond that, a racetrack. And my dad says he remembers going over there when he was a kid and racing horses with them. But the guy, they said he had a lot of money and he was really well respected, but guess how he got his money? From the mining that went on around Pitcher and Cardin, Oklahoma, was on land that was his allotments. And, another cool thing that happened to the guy, he never spoke English. Yeah, he never knew how to speak English.
Goodness.
Well, that's amazing.
That's kind of really crazy, isn't it? But I think he was taken by a young lady, and he went and got married to her, and their marriage wasn't lawful, but she inherited the whole estate and got all his money. And she was married to the guy named Hoffman. And you can find out most of that information by going to the internet and looking up Hoffman Mansion or Benjamin Quapaw, and it will take you and show you the headstones in their little cemetery. His name was Benjamin Quapaw. His wife's name was Seesaw. but there's no marker there for the bear. But they claim that the bear was buried between him and his wife.
Seesaw Quapaw.
Seesaw. That's right.
Well,
Oh,
I mean, I read what was the book, the
I
movie
know.
that came out, the Flower Moon or whatever.
yeah.
I listened to the audio book of that.
Gosh,
It's
what was
like,
that?
holy cow, that's
Yep.
crazy, the stuff that went on back then.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. I never saw the movie or the book.
Yeah.
Something of the Flower Moon. Yeah.
I forget what it was called, but yeah, it was crazy. The amount of oil that was found up in that area, and the Indians, the tribes
Yeah.
had it, and whew, the ruthlessness of
Well,
it.
my wife's been at it again. She made Father's Day gifts for all the dads at my church today and gave them away. And this is what it was.
Oh. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. That is wild.
That's cool.
And
That's a nice.
it's a
gift.
right-handed or left-handed.
Uh-huh. Oh.
And I have to have that because I'm left-handed.
Aw. Night, Robbie. We understand. Oh, Robbie's got to go close up his chicks. We're past time already. So
Yeah,
Appreciate
no.
you having me
I
on
did.
tonight. I've been missing getting to get on here with y'all. I know I've missed at least a week or two, and
I know. Well, yeah, we were gone last week. We didn't. Ryan and Keith were able to take the spot, and we've been so busy and had a lot going on with family and I mean,
Yeah.
today we just came flying in because we were seeing family and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's crazy busy right
Yeah.
now, and yeah, we haven't even finished. Haven't even finished with putting up all the
I
animals.
need to be baling hay, but the ground's too wet to drive on anywhere. And
I know.
they're giving us a little better forecast that may dry that up some this week, but the week after that will be church camp. So
Yeah.
It's a muddy mess.
it
here.
looks like
Yeah.
my May hay may be July hay.
Well, and you're probably not alone.
But if the rain keeps up, you'll get a second and maybe a third.
Maybe all at once.
Maybe all at once. Yeah.
It'd be pretty
Yeah.
good. There'll be a lot of yield there because the stuff has growed up and laid down and grown back up through itself again. So
Uh-oh.
Oh my.
we
Yeah.
had a whole bunch of wind that laid some of it down like a month ago. It was pretty heavy then, but we haven't had nothing but rain since. They didn't forecast us any rain for this afternoon, and we had a big rain this evening. The guys at church was saying we had something like 2.5, a little more than 2.5 inches before 6 o'clock, and then it rained the whole time we was in church tonight. So
Mhm. We just had one spell come through pretty heavy this morning. So I think we lucked out on a
Yeah,
little
like
bit of it.
third of an inch or something like that, but
It's just
knocked the power out for a little bit. And
Oh, I think we had more than a third of an inch. It's standing out there still, but I don't know. I mean, there's been so much. It's just a daily thing.
yeah,
But I think we're through. I think this week they're calling for very minor chances.
one of the older gentlemen at
And-
my church said that he didn't think his rain gauge was going to work next year because it was so eroded from the rain hitting it this year. Okay.
Yeah. Oh man.
Hopefully they freeze
Yeah.
and bust.
I mean, I've been trying not to, making sure I'm not complaining, because it's going to the spigot's going to turn off, and then we're going to be sitting there going, we need
Hey,
rain.
the Oklahoma Mesonet weather deal put out this week for the first time since I think it was the 13th or 14th of June in 2019. There was no drought in Oklahoma.
yeah.
Oh,
I saw
So
yeah.
that.
I'm like, that's good. Something good coming out of all this. Bad news is all the wheat that's standing may be sprouting in the head before they get to cut it if they keep being so wet. But
Oh man.
Yeah.
it's all right.
Yeah. Around here, we've got wheat that's that's ready to be cut, but they can't do nothing until it
Can't
dries
get a
up.
dry break to cut any. I've seen some guys that tried, but I think they quit either because their ground was too wet to drive on, or the wheat wasn't dry enough to harvest yet. They dock them pretty bad on that moisture content on that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, if we don't get rain this week, then it'll be pretty good because we're going to be in the 90s. So that's what we need. But goodness, I don't remember a year like this.
I remember when I was a youngster helping my dad make hay. We had one year that we didn't get any hay made in June. We worked on trying to make the same hay and wound up baling it just to get it off the field so they could haul it over and put it in a ditch somewhere because it was ruined. But we finally did get to make some hay that year, and it made good if I remember right. We had to get past June.
Yeah. And then I'm driving around here since we're so close to town. When we were out today, I was looking at places that needed to be baled, needed to be cut and baled, and there was just back in the tree line, there was just rows of stuff from last year that they hadn't used or hadn't sold. So
we drove through or by a few fields. My son and I went to Dewey to pick up a tractor yesterday morning. We drove by several places where there was still last year's hay sitting in the field. And all I could think was, looks like you'd have wanted to get that out of there and do something with it, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, this was all picked up and put, back in the tree line, so the field was still clear, but I traveled down, Louisiana and Texas, that area over in there, and there's bales of hay sitting everywhere.
People that may have sold all their cattle and baled hay instead and couldn't sell it. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we've had to buy some hay just this summer. Need to probably go get some more too, just because the sheep, we've been having to pin them up because they're lambing. So they need the hay. They need the dry forage. So we had to go buy some.
Yeah, and that's sad because we've got plenty of fields with green.
Oh, yeah, we're actually gonna have to mow it and top it off because sheep don't like the seed heads and things like that. They want the softer. So, oh well. Last year we had the steers that was just kept everything down good.
Between the steers, the goats, and the sheep.
And the sheep last year, it worked well.
We were like, whew.
Well, yeah, we were actually a little concerned.
Yeah.
That we were not going to have enough, but now we're going to have to mow when it dries out.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, we better probably hop off of here.
Hey, y'all have a good evening.
We have kept everybody long enough. Well, thanks for joining us, Paul, and everybody in chat. Thanks so much. We appreciate seeing you guys tonight.
Have a good evening, and don't take no wooden nickels.
Well, I'll take wooden nickels from her.
Unless you got a place to spend them.
Well, I was told that wooden nickels was a kiss.
Oh.
I was a different kind of wooden nickels that I got.
I'm totally lost on this one. I have no idea where it's going.
She's a youngster.
I was just like, okay.
And it's Father's Day.
And it's Father's Day. Okay. Well, we're getting off of here.
Okay. All right. We'll see you guys.
We'll see you guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Goodbye. See y'all next week.